Hello, my name is Diane Southard. I'm the founder of Your DNA Guide. And for the next 10 minutes or so, I want to talk to you about the 3 benefits of YDNA family projects. So those 3 benefits are access to a project administrator, understanding who you're not related to, which is surprisingly more helpful than you think it is, and number 3, access to data. Now, if you want to find a project administrator, you're going to need to join a project at Family Tree DNA. They're really the only company offering this kind of family project that we're talking about today. So go to ftdna.com or familytreedna.com to get started. So on that homepage, there are actually 2 different ways you can try to find a family project at Family Tree DNA. So if you just come to their homepage, familytreedna.com, scroll down till you see this kind of map image, and then put a surname, maybe yours or one that you're researching, into this search box. When you do that, it's going to bring up these search results, which will tell you a little bit about the composition of the Family Tree DNA database. So let's zoom in. And what you'll notice is that there are over 11,000 projects at Family Tree DNA. So theoretically, there's one for you among all of these 11,000 projects. You can see there is a Hazelwood project listed, and I can see there are 51 members. So this is the first way to find a project, and you don't even have to make a purchase. You can just go to familytreedna.com, scroll down, search by surname, and kind of get a feel for what's going on. The second way to find a project is if you've already tested with Family Tree DNA, you can come to your Family Tree DNA dashboard. So after you log in, at the top, there's this menu. Click on Group Projects and then on Join a Project. That will take you to this page. Now, sometimes Family Tree DNA is smart enough to understand what kinds of projects you might be interested in, and they might list them here for you under recommended projects. So you can see Hazelwood is listed here and recommended for me. Of course, I can just search by Hazelwood in this search box at the top, and it will tell me if there are any projects with that surname. If you're interested, you can also browse Family Tree DNA's over 11,000 projects by scrolling down. There are different headers here that you could look at, but you'll probably spend the most time looking through the surname project section by clicking on the letter of a surname that you're interested in and seeing what kinds of surnames are available for you to join, what kinds of projects are available for you to join. You can see here on this page, it also says YDNA geographical projects. So if you are part of a lineage whose surname doesn't follow that nice naming pattern of getting passed down father to son, perhaps you're from Scandinavia, then you may want to consider a geographical project, which will allow you to accomplish these same kinds of purposes, but you're not limited by a specific surname. So once you find a project you're interested in, you'll want to click on it. So I'm going to click here on Hazelwood, which will bring up this project page, which has a lot of interesting information on it, but most notably it has a join button. So you can click on that join button. Once you click on that join button, you can be automatically added to the project, or some projects require some kind of administrator to okay you and let you in. But clicking that join button lets them know that you're ready to do that. You will also want to visit their website. So each surname project has its own website hosted by Family Tree DNA. Those websites look something like this. Now, every project is kind of set up a little bit differently, so you might have to look in a couple of different places before you find contact information for that very helpful project administrator. Many projects will have the project administrator's information listed over here on the left in this sidebar. But for the Hazelwood project, there isn't a family administrator listed. So I actually had to click through these tabs, background, goals, news, and results, and I was able to find the contact information for the project administrator in these tabs, which you would probably want to read anyway to learn more about this particular project. Now, once you've found the contact information for your project administrator, here's a few things you might want to ask them. Number 1, can you help me find family tree information for my DNA match? Sometimes your DNA match might not have any family tree information listed, but they may have shared that information with the project administrator. So that's always my number 1 question. Do you know any of the family tree information for the individuals in the project? Number 2, have you noticed any patterns in the YDNA of our group? So we'll be talking about data and patterns kind of in the last section right today. But it's definitely a question worth asking. Is there something about the way the data looks that's noteworthy that I'll want to pay attention to? Number 3, what can you tell me about the likely origins of my paternal line? Many project administrators are really into this question and can share a lot of information and research that they've done about the origins of your own paternal line. So that's number 1. Find that project administrator. They're often a great source of help and information for you. Number 2, belonging to a project can help you see who you are not related to. So project data is listed in these big tables with lots of information in it, and it can be quickly overwhelming. So let's just talk for a minute about what this data means. First of all, across the top, you're going to see a list of markers. These are locations that have been tested by Family Tree DNA for every single YDNA test in your project. So every man has these same locations. What's different between men are the values that they have, these numbers. So in general, your YDNA matches are those people with shared values. Now, there are lots of ways that a project can be organized, but often your project is going to be organized according to those who have the same values. So in this project, these people here at the top are organized together because they have similar values. Similarly, this next bigger group of people are all related to each other, but they are distinct or different than the group above them. So many projects are organized by these groups, meaning that people within a group are related to each other, but the groups are not related to each other. They have the same surname or a similar surname, but they're not actually related to each other. They represent different ancestral lines. So for you, once you get tested and you're placed in one of these groups, if your ancestor is John Hazelwood, this is your YDNA, then you can be confident that you are connected to the people within your group, but everyone else who's tested that is not in your group, you are not related to. So you've just gathered a huge list of ancestors to whom you have no connection. Now this can be really valuable. Let's take this situation. What if your ancestor, John Hazelwood, lives just down the street from a Mr. Daniel Hazelwood? They actually also are both deacons in the same church, and they both name their daughters Anna. This seems to be too coincidental. You must be related to this man. But the more you search, the less you find. You just cannot find a document that connects these two families together. So you take a YDNA test and you find yourself in this group 3. But someone who's a descendant of this Daniel Hazelwood has also taken a YDNA test. But you guys are not in the same group, which means these two lines are not related to each other, which means their shared location, their shared surname, their shared deaconship, is that a word? And the fact that they both named their daughters Anna, it doesn't matter. YDNA says that at least the descendants of these two individuals are not related. Now, there's more YDNA testing we would want to do, there's more genealogy we would want to do, but you can see how understanding who you are not related to can sometimes be just as valuable as understanding who you are related to. So our third point then is to have access to all of this data. Now, this is admittedly a little next level. So if you're new to YDNA testing, this might be a little beyond your capabilities right now, but it is something that you can learn to do, and it's pretty exciting. You can learn to analyze the data patterns that may emerge, they don't always, but they may emerge within your YDNA family project. So what you're really looking for is shared mutations. So each of these colored boxes in these tables represents a mutation. And when we can find patterns in the mutation, they kind of create ancestor tags. It's like they tag a specific ancestor with a specific value. So think of it this way. Let's say you have an ancestor, Sven Sorensen, and his pattern of values have created a tag so that all of the people who are related to Sven have a specific set of values, a Sven tag, shall we call it? So that means that if some random individual takes a DNA test and we look at their pattern of values in a family project, and we determine that this person has a Sven tag, then that means that this person, even if they have no idea how, they are in fact related to Sven. So it's these data patterns that create these tags that can sometimes be really powerful in sorting out our connections to each other and to individual ancestors. So those are the three, or among the three benefits of joining a YDNA family project: to have access to that project administrator, to understand who you are not related to, as well as to start recognizing patterns in the data. Now, if you're still curious or still wondering about what DNA can do for you, whether it's YDNA or perhaps you've tested with autosomal DNA, that kind you get from both of your parents, we've got lots of resources to help you out. You can go to yourdnaguide.com/rootstech, and you can see some of our special offers there, as well as some things that are free to keep you moving down your DNA educational path. So if you're interested, I hope you'll join us at yourdnaguide.com/rootstech. But thank you so much for joining me, for wanting to learn more about how to use YDNA in your family history. I'm confident that taking action on some of these things, searching for, joining a family project, starting to analyze your data, looking at the people that don't match you, is going to lead you down a path towards finding that ancestor that you're looking for. And I can't wait to hear all about it. So make sure you let us know. So take care and enjoy yourself learning here from me and here at Your DNA Guide.